Rural Radio, SiriusXM 147, inside your radio, outside the barrel, Flint Rasmussen.
I'm putting $20 on the fact that Gary Morris never calls me to go fishing with him. Great to have Gary Morris in studio, and I really avoided the, it must have been cold there in my shadow. Hear the wind beneath my wings. I know he gets tired of that. Good guy, small town guy. You can tell he's passionate about it, the fly fishing, the elk hunting, just a good guy. Glad he stopped by to spend a little time with us. And moving right along, we are always glad when this one guy stops by and spends a little time with us. It is, we'll call it Monthly with Mason. Again, our old friend Damian Mason. Hey, Damian, I got to get your opinion real quick on something. This whole outlawing clown thing, this thing's getting out of control around Halloween. Would you agree?
Flint, thank you for having me. You're the only person I thought of when they said there's a creepy clown craze going on and we've got to do something about it. And I said, the only clown I am personally acquainted with is Flint Rasmussen on the PBR circuit.
Yeah, and I'm not creepy. I'm just a guy.
Actually, what bothers me, is that my wife watches you dance out there at the American Airlines Arena in Phoenix, and she doesn't think creepy. She thinks he's really got the moves. So I'm telling you, you're far from creepy. You're almost like, shall we say, alluring.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she told me she liked my dance. Sorry. Sorry.
A creepy clown thing, I tell you what, I don't think we need an outlaw. We mostly just need to outlaw weirdos. Maybe that's the deal.
Yeah, I know. Hey, you and I, we've touched on this a little bit, and I talk about it a lot when I talk to fan bases, different things. We travel around, do our thing, but I'm headed to Vegas next week, PBR World Finals. In New York, Billings, Montana, Las Vegas, real varying in the demographic of the people, the location. You really need to adjust kind of your topics and the way you present it while trying to get your message across, correct?
Absolutely. The mark of a great show person is understanding the audience before them. When people say, do you have to change your material, I think to myself, well, good God, yes, because there's going to be a different crowd here, a different mindset there, as you obviously have to do also. Different reaction, different people, different places. I was thinking about this when you called and you say, okay, agriculture, comedy, commentary guy. I go around the country speaking at largely agricultural groups. Sugar beets, peanuts, potatoes, pork, rice, wheat, corn, soy, cotton, cattle. It goes on and on and on and on. All these different organizations, and it's really a learning experience. Last week, I worked for the Pickle Packers International.
There's so many bad jokes right there, just in the name. The Pickle Packers
at the Pickle Packers International, Charleston, South Carolina. They came from all over the globe, mostly North America, and boy, did I learn about pickles.
What's it? Give me some insight. What can you possibly learn about pickles? Yeah.
Because you try to learn something every day. That's what makes you a good comedic entertainer. I try to learn something every day. It makes me good at my craft of talking to agricultural business people. First off, your listeners are going to be happy to know, outside of the Pickle Packers International Conference, there were no protests by People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, or HSUS. There was none of that going on.
They weren't concerned with how the cucumbers were treated in the transformation into a pickle, in other words.
Those poor cucumbers are ripped away from their mother vine, thrown into a crowded truck, thrown into a vat of cold water, and then jarred up, packed one another in a brine. That's something.
Yeah.
We didn't see any people dressed up as pickles, like in a cage, saying, "Stop eating pickles, pickles are cruel," or anything like that. No, we didn't see any of that. Dig this. You'll appreciate a couple of quick facts. I'm going to ask you a question. You're a smart guy. How many pounds of pickles does the average American consume in a year? 3, 6, 9, or 12 pounds?
Pounds of pickles?
In a year.
I'm going to go myself. I couldn't say 2, but I'll say 6.
9 pounds of pickles
Lord.
consumed by the average American in a year, 1/3 of which are consumed at fast food restaurants.
On hamburgers. There you go. Yeah.
Yes. So the fun of working for these various organizations, from, like I said, peanuts to potatoes, is the amount of stuff you learn. But you got to keep learning. That's what keeps a guy like you and me sharp. We're out here trying to learn about our organizations and our groups that we work for.
Well, tell me this. Is it really earlier this week, it was National Pumpkin Day? I saw something on Twitter that you said something about fun pumpkin facts. Are there really fun facts about pumpkins?
Here's what I have concluded. You and I met kind of on Twitter, although I knew who you were because I've been at the PBR shows. Every day is National something according to Twitter. So when I log on to Twitter, I see what's trending. It's National Something Day, National Toy Tractor Day, National Staple Gun Day, National Post-it Note Day. And the reason I named those 3 things is because those are 3 things on my desk right here that I'm sure have a national day on Twitter. Uh-huh. When you think about it, who comes up with this? And the other thing, of course, that's always trending, as you well know, is why Donald Trump is a bad person, hashtag, or why Hillary is a pig, hashtag. Man, how did people know who to vote for before the advent of Twitter? It's almost like they had to really think about it. Now they can just log on to Twitter and know what to do.
Sure.
National Pumpkin Day. You asked me a question. I think I should share it with you. All 50 states grow pumpkins, but principally, like 3/4 of all pumpkins are grown in about 6 states. Illinois grows the most of them. Illinois grows an amazing amount of pumpkins. Mostly they go for pie. So if you're eating pumpkin pie this holiday season, there's a good chance the pumpkins came from Illinois. There's a fun pumpkin fact for you.
That's just gripping. That's what you might have paid for the whole seat, but you're only going to need the edge of it on this show. I'll tell you. Hey, listen, stick around, Damian. I got to take a quick commercial break, and I want to talk about steaks. Chick-fil-A, lots to talk about. He's our buddy, Damian Mason. I'm hoping Bill Clinton shows up after the break. We're outside the barrel. Take a quick time out. Back after
this. He's never in a pickle. Inside your radio, outside the barrel, Flint Rasmussen.
That was good. I'm never in a pickle. Our friend Damian Mason joining us, a commentator, comedian. I don't know what he. As far as I know, he sits at his desk and waits for me to call. That's all I know.
Happy to wait. Happy to wait on my good friend Flint Rasmussen. Happy to be a part of Outside the Barrel. In fact, this is a highlight for me, as it is for your listeners. By the way, at Damian P. Mason is my Twitter handle. If any of your wonderful followers want to check out my stuff, I'll promise comedic commentary. I will usually anger a few people. I've been called a mouthpiece for Monsanto by some of my followers. They don't like that I'm a pro-ag guy.
Well, somebody's always mad. Hey, are you really reading a book called Steak?
I am. Before we get into steak, I do have to tell you and your lovely listeners, here's the point that I make, because you're a capitalist, I'm a capitalist, your listeners value $1 as much as the next guy. I had an anti-agricultural group after me, and they were getting after me on Twitter, getting after me out here, and they said, "You're just a mouthpiece for Monsanto." I corrected them. I said, "That's not true. I'm not a mouthpiece for Monsanto, because I also do paid gigs for DuPont, Dow, BASF, and Syngenta."
Yeah, can't go wrong. Got to get them all.
I'm not a mouthpiece for Monsanto. I told them I'm a whore to the highest bidder. Come on now, call me what I am.
That's what you are. So am I. God, we're friends. Oh, I love it. So tell me about what's the perfect, are you learning in this book, Steak, what a perfect steak is? Because I don't know if I can pinpoint it. I don't know.
I don't know if I can pinpoint it either. This book is called Steak, One Man's Quest for the Perfect Piece of Beef. It's written by a guy named Mark Schatzker. He's a foodie. We disagree on some stuff because I'm an ag guy. He's more of the foodie feelings guy. But we must understand, in the business of food production, many of your listeners are out here in the Nebraskas and the Idahos and the Indianas of the world where we actually make food. We must realize it's not about us making it. It's about us being able to sell it. And without the foodie crowd and the people that are sitting down to eat it, there's no need for us. So I read this book called Steak. He says that he thinks Steak is the best food on earth, but he wants to find the best steak on earth because he feels like maybe sometimes it's gotten a little too watered down. He goes to Argentina, Japan, Scotland, France, all over the world eating steak. And I'm thinking, you got a pretty good gig. You watch bulls run around. You're not silly enough to get in harm's way anymore. You just dance and make jokes. I got a pretty good gig. I go and talk to pickle producers. But what about a gig where you go around and eat steak and then write about it? That wouldn't be bad.
And I love steak. And I'm kind of a filet guy. I don't know why. I like a filet, but a ribeye, I don't know. The great thing about beef is I believe I can thaw out a piece of steak, throw a little salt and pepper on it, throw it on a flame, pull it off, and it's wonderful. There's nothing else needed. That's what I love about steak.
Flint, your listeners are meat-eating beef people. I know that. You know that. You're a beef guy. I'm a beef guy. I don't know if my favorite one, I can tell you what my least favorite one would be. One of those bulls that you're watching, the 2,200 pounders that are bucking around and the PBR thing, I think if you butchered one of those, it'd probably be among the worst steaks I've ever eaten.
Little tough.
Still probably better than Golden Corral.
Yeah, a little tough. I know we like beef, but the West was not won by the great chicken drives of the 1800s. However, Chick-fil-A, what is our world coming to? And I read about this, and you brought it up as well to me. They were given awards for being nice. Chick-fil-A. Is that what our world's coming to? To me, that's like rewarding kids for attendance at school, giving them an award for something they should do anyway.
When we started giving financial incentives to kids for actually going to school, I was a perfect attendance guy, Flint. I was perfect attendance 8 out of 12 years or 8 out of 13 years, and people are like, wow, is it because you're healthy? Yeah, I'm pretty healthy. Well, why were you? Is it because you're a great student? No, I'm a poor student. Well, why were you so enthused about perfect attendance, Damian? I'll tell you why Damian Mason had perfect attendance. I figured it was the best way for me to punish the teachers I hated.
Good idea. And you had nowhere else to be. Really? That's the way I look at it.
As a bad kid, I figured it's the way that I can punish these people. I'm going to show up every day and cause you grief. Plus, let's face it, when you're raised on a farm, going to school is kind of like taking the day off compared to staying home and milking cows.
Dang right. So
Okay.
Chick-fil-A just says please and thank you and nice to see you. And they get rewarded.
Yeah, the numbers are pretty staggering, and this speaks to our country sensibilities. You're a Montana rural guy. I'm an Indiana farm boy. We think you should work hard, and you should put on a good product, put a good product out there for the paying customer, and also thank them for being a customer. You and I both know that these folks don't wake up every day just thinking about how to ingratiate us with their money. We should give them something of value. So the employees at Chick-fil-A, in a survey of the top 15 restaurant, quick service restaurants, fast food, if you will, surveyed, 95% of the time said please and thank you at the drive-thru. Their closest competitor was KFC with 85%. McDonald's did 78%. And why this matters, you and I, your listeners, we know you should thank the people that make your job and your livelihood possible. Yeah. Is Chick-fil-A tapping into something? Well, yes, they are. And here's where it's paying off for them.
Yeah.
They are the most revenue per restaurant of any of the fast food places. Over $4 million of revenue per Chick-fil-A. So don't tell me that simply thanking the people for being customers doesn't pay off.
That's right. Big election coming up. Before I let you go, is there anything, can you imagine a conversation? What's Bill telling Hillary right now? So if Bill Clinton were to walk up right now, any thoughts from Bill Clinton on Outside the Barrel right now on the upcoming election and what's been going on? Bill, is there anything that you can share with us, some insight into this election?
Well, I'll tell you what, Flint, I'm so glad you asked me. I was wondering if we were going to talk about this because, just the other day, Hillary and I were talking about things, and I said it's funny to me that everybody says that folks are just voting for Donald Trump because he's white. I mean, if you really look at that guy, he's not white, he's orange. And the other funny thing to me is, and I think we should talk very frankly about this, and by the way, this is Bill Clinton for your listeners right here. So me and Hillary were talking about stuff, and I said, don't let them catch you in a bind like that poor Gary Johnson, presidential candidate. They got him pinned in the corner because he didn't know what Aleppo was. a city in Syria, but I didn't know that. They started saying Aleppo. Heck, I thought there was some kind of a disease, or maybe that canned dog food sponsored by Lauren Green a few years ago. Aleppo.
Did we just have a Lauren Green reference?
By the way, you haven't heard a Lauren Green reference since Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah,
but I thought it'd be fun to put it out there for all of your fans who also grew up watching Bonanza.
Bonanza, I know.
Okay, you want your last one, Flint? You want your last political thought for the day?
Yeah, one last one.
Okay, and by the way, again, tell your friends out there at Damian P. Mason, Damian Mason on social media. Keep up with it. I'll keep stuff going for you, and I very much appreciate you having me on Outside the Barrel. We'll do it again next week. So here's my thought as Bill Clinton. They've been asking me, they said, all right, Hillary's the candidate. You know, what was the toughest part of the election? Well, first off, Bernie Sanders, he came up with a slogan called Feel the Burn. Everybody said, that's a novel slogan. I said, not to me. I was feeling the burn back in the 80s. Hell, I had to get 7 shots of penicillin once to stop feeling the burn. But I'll tell you the other thing, Flint, it's not going to be a problem, I didn't think, until this week. I didn't think Donald Trump had a chance of beating Hillary in this election. And I kept saying, when hell freezes over, that's when Donald Trump can finally be president. And you know what? I didn't think it was going to be an issue at all. But I found out that hell is indeed frozen over. You know how I know it? The Chicago Cubs are in the World Series.
The World Series, that's right. There you go. Thanks, buddy. Golly. Hey, listen, Damian, you're the best, man. It's always good to have you.
Thank you for having me on here, Flint. Wonderful being with you. I'll do it again next time.
Hey, sounds good. We'll talk soon, buddy. Thanks.
Bye, Flint.
Damian Mason and Bill Clinton. We're going to wrap up the hour. Take a quick break. Back after this.